Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Carl Baines and welcome to the Paradigm Effects Productive Sunday. I am so excited that you guys can join us, and tonight we're going to be talking about being a co-creator, right? So we can talk about from an artistic expression or an ideal or an app that you came up with and it allowed you to help other people. But the best example to that is a mother having a child, right? That means that a mother and a father came together, and those cells became two, and those cells became four, and they start multiplying, right, to actually become a human being, right? It started growing in different parts of the body, and then it started getting ideas and thoughts being, in the mind. And so guess what? 9 months later, that person came out of their mother, and now you have a living being, right? Holding right in your hands, right? And I'm so excited about it because I'm about to have one in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So let's go ahead and get started about being a co-creator. We all know that we came from our parents, right? So they created us, right? So now we have those thoughts, ideals, and traits that's going to allow us to be a co-creator, right? That means that whatever it is that you believe, whether it's from, God or whatever your religion or faith-based background is, you know that you are part of a creator, right? And then that allows you to now to be able to create, right? So I said all that to say that guess what? You are a co-creator, right? And so all those ideas that you have, right? All those instinctive traits and abilities and know-how to go and do certain things that certain people, will have to go to school to do. You have it. And so guess what? That allows you to be a co-creator. But tonight we're going to go in what does it mean to be a co-creator? How can you maintain being a co-creator? Excuse me, remember, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to keep it going because guess what? We are human beings and sometimes we mess up, right? So let's not be perfect. Let's keep it going, right? So we know for a fact that it's going to allow us to be successful if we be with co-creators while being a co-creator. But tonight we're going to start off with what does it mean to be a co-creator? How do I need to, deal with as being a co-creator? And how can I be a co-creator with others, right? So I want to go ahead and start going into your ideas, your thoughts of how you can be a productive, right? It is Productive Sundays, right? A productive co-creator, right? So you and I both know that we have ideas, we have things that we want, what we want to become, whom we want to be, right? But we don't know the necessary ways sometimes. And so me being a co-creator, I'm going to get with you, the co-creator, and together I'm going to explain to you in greater detail on certain ways and traits and things that you can do to become a co-creator or continue to be a co-creator. Now, let's go in detail. And again, I'm not perfect, so I have notes. But I want to go ahead and break down to you what does a co-creator once you know that you're a co-creator, right? Then let's go ahead into detail on how a co-creator can be more efficient, more effective, and allow you to grow as a co-creator. All right. So I want to go ahead into my notes right here and want to talk about in greater detail on how co-creators should react on certain things, how we should allow ourselves to grow. And as you can hear, I'm going to the part of my notes that talks about the reprogramming of your success as a co-creator. So we all have ideas, we all have strength in certain areas, but the first thing as a co-creator is that knowing that it's time to reprogram what it is that we assume to be true, okay? So first thing is reprogramming, right? Carl, what that mean and break it down to me. I'm glad you asked, okay? So the first thing is that your thoughts, right? Last week we talked about your thoughts and we talked about the power of the mind and how the mind, you can do multiple things and be multiple things and have and do, right? But you have to tap into those 4 things we talked about, right? If you haven't seen it, go check it out. All right, so the next thing is programming, right? And you're like, Carl, what do you mean? I'm fine, nothing's wrong with me. But there are certain things that we've been programmed, right? Or we've been taught that allows us to either be a stronger co-creator or allows us to maintain where we are as a co-creator, okay? So first thing is family, right? Your family has programmed you or and me a certain way to live, a certain type of lifestyle, or certain this is what our family do, right? There's certain things that your family kind of program you on. Another one is your faith base or religion, friends, the culture your family or your surroundings is go ahead and into. What about education, right? It's a program around education and this the know all to everything, right? So and then the last thing is media, right? Media also programs us to think a certain way, and again, I'm not going to get detail in that because I'm not an expert in that. But at the end of the day, sometimes you could be watching a fast food commercial, and guess what? Now you realize you become hungry while watching that. Well, that's a form of media programming, right? And so again, we gotta understand that some of those programs are good. Some of those programs allow you to be productive. But at the same time, some of those programs kind of hinder you from being a co-creator, going out there and being the best you can possibly be. So what are some of the 4 steps that we can do to allow us to go ahead and change our thoughts when it becomes when it comes to being a co-creator? All right. So the first thing is being aware. Okay. And this is not in a dream state, right? This is not you writing down your dreams, being dead on or ready to go ahead and take it by advantage. It's you basically just going out there and being aware of your surroundings, being aware of the climate of what's going on in your community, your faith-based organizations, the media, what you're watching. We talked about that in the power of the mind. Everything that we were taught sometimes doesn't reflect on where we're going. All right, I want you guys to say that with me. What I've been taught sometimes doesn't reflect on where I'm going as a co-creator. Okay, good. So I want you to be mindful of that because sometimes we get stuck in our subconscious mind from what we've been programmed or taught to where we actually want to go. Okay, so be aware, be mindful of what it is that's going around you mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, and emotionally so that you can keep on being a co-creator. All right, the next thing is understanding, right? You have to understand, get understanding. Of all things, get understanding. I remember that so clear and so true as one of my programs that actually worked for me. And so at the end of the day, you have to understand what is going on, right? To be a co-creator, you have to understand what it is that you're trying to create, what's the purpose of it, and is it going to benefit you and without a shadow of a doubt, benefit others, right? And the next one is disassociation. Now, sometimes people, they have a hard time with this because remember, we're creatures of habit, right? And so what I'm used to doing, who I'm used to being around and who I'm used to associating myself to, regardless of what aspect is in, we automatically tap back into those things, right? If I'm used to doing a certain thing and it's not benefiting me, then guess what? I'm still going to do it because guess what? That's my comfort zone. That's what I'm used to. So I want you to make sure that you start the process, right? Remember, I said process. I didn't say completely stop, right? That's another thing I want you guys to remember doing this journey with me is that this is a process. I want you to start the process of disassociating yourself to whatever it is that's hindering you for being a true co-creator, okay? And the last thing on my list is the reprogramming, right? Make sure that you constantly go back to what it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? Remember, the first thing I said, be aware. Second thing is understanding. Third thing is disassociation. And the last thing is reprogram yourself, right? If you think about a computer, right? 9 times out of 10, you have to, if you get it like a virus, right? So you get a virus on a computer and you go in and you see it and guess what you have to do? You got to disassociate any network connectivity from that computer, because guess what? Then it can feed on to other things. It can feed on to other computers that it's associated with. For those who are in IT, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to a network being corrupt, right? Through one computer, you can get the whole network, right? And so guess what? Sometimes you have to go in and disconnect yourself and get reprogrammed. So now you got to put in some software inside of that computer to clean it up, right? And this is all this is. And remember, we're still staying on being a co-creator. But again, in order for us to be a productive co-creator, we have to do these 4 things to kind of get focused, right? To get our mindset right. So guess what? Now I'm reprogramming those things that were not good for me before, and programming in those things that are gonna benefit me. I hope you guys understand what I said. But before I go forward, I want to go ahead and say those 4 things again. Be aware, have understanding, disassociated from whatever it is that's hindering you from being a co-creator, and put more programming that's gonna allow you to grow. Okay? So the next thing is attitude. Now, Carl, you're saying, okay, I got attitude, but again, we're talking about Productive Sunday, right? So we want to talk about productive attitudes, meaning that what is going to allow me as a co-creator to have the attitude to keep on growing, and for not only for myself, but for others to see me as another co-creator, right? And so what that means is that I need to look at myself, I need to look at the future, I need to look at the people that's around me, and more importantly, I need to look at where it is that I'm trying to go, right? And so when I do those things, I'm going to repeat them again. The past, what I learned from. The future, where I'm going. People next to me, how do they relate to me as a co-creator, because we're all co-creators, right? And then the last thing is, what am I internally doing to allow myself to be productive as a co-creator, okay? So then those are the 2 key things that we need to focus in on, right? The programming / thoughts and the attitude. Then once we do that, then guess what? The next 3 things is productive, right? This is Productive Sunday. So the next 3 things is activity. What am I doing as a co-creator to allow my activity to go up, right? If I want to be a teacher and I got to learn some skill sets, right? Program myself from remove those things that I learned that are not benefiting me, right? Have an attitude of success, and then guess what? Then my activity goes up. Now I'm learning more skill sets that I need. Then guess what? Next thing is results. Now I'm seeing results. So it's kind of like a circle in a sense. My thoughts change, then my attitude change, then my activity change, and guess what? My results change to the positive things in which I want as a co-creator. So guess what? The last thing is, and I know y'all gonna love this, lifestyle, right? So then it becomes a lifestyle. And so as a co-creator, look at me, you will be able to have the lifestyle as a co-creator that you want, right? You'll be able to be, have, and do those things that you want to be, do, and have, right? You can do whatever you want to do, you can be whatever you want to be, and you can have whatever you want to have if you tap into being that co-creator that I know you can be and apply these steps. Again, thoughts, right? Those programs that are not benefiting you. The attitude, right? What attitude are you going to come in the room with? Is it going to be positive or negative? And then that turns into your activity, right? What type of activity can you have, right? The results come in, they look good, right? And then it becomes a lifestyle. So we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to go ahead and end this video because I don't want to be too long for you guys tonight. But as a co-creator, you want to have good thoughts, right? You want to focus on good things. You want to focus on great ventures, great ideas, great way of looking when it comes to your health, great way of strategizing for your mental on your finances, having a good mindset on your health and on your emotional status, right? Then the next thing is your attitude about it, right? When you're going through a process like we're doing, sometimes you got to keep a positive attitude. And if you don't have a positive attitude, work through the negative in order to have a positive attitude. And then once you have great ideas, great thoughts, and great attitude, here come the great results, right? Here come those great ideas that's starting to pop up as a co-creator. You're starting to connect with positive people that have more than you have, so you can learn from them, and then you can start having even better results. Then the next thing will be the lifestyle that you want to live, right? You want to start having a healthy mental lifestyle. You want to start having a healthy spiritual lifestyle, right? A lot of people don't talk about that, but having a healthy spiritual lifestyle. Do you want to have a healthy physical lifestyle? All these things apply as a co-creator because you're creating the best thing that you can ever create, a better you. You're creating the best thing that you can ever create, a better you. And so that's what you got to do from the beginning. Granted, I understand if you're a parent, I understand that you have a love for other people, but the best thing you can do is create a better you. And so with that, I'm not going to go deep tonight. I'm going to end on that. That's the perfect end for me. And so what I want you guys to do tonight, remember, every night we have homework when we're talking about Productive Sunday. Every Sunday we have a homework. And so tonight, I want you to write down these things. What it is that I want as a co-creator. What is one thing. I'm not talking about a million things. I want you to focus on one thing. One thing that I want to get done. What are my thoughts on that? I want you to write both negative and positive, right? But on those negatives, I want you to write them on a separate sheet of paper. Because tonight, we're going to throw those negative ideas in your mind away, okay? Once we have the positive in front of us, then guess what? We got to change our attitude on those things that we want to get done. We can't say to ourselves, I won't get this done because this or that or the other, right? Tonight is the beginning of where we're trying to go with this, all right? And then the next thing will be, what is the activity that's going to get me those things in which I want? I have the thoughts, I have the positive attitude about them, and now what is the activity that's going to get the first thing started? I just want to work on the first thing. And then guess what? When you work on that first thing, then you'll get a result, right? And that result is the result of something being accomplished, right? And once that one thing is accomplished, then guess what? You are starting to have a lifestyle of productivity to allow you to be the co-creator I know you can be. So with that, I'm Carl Baines, and simply what I do, I help you transform your thinking in order to transform your life, and that is the paradigm effect. Go out there and be the greatest co-creator you can be. Take care.